Hello and welcome to a What Sold video. This is everything that sold for me on eBay from August 15th to August 21st because that's the only platform I made sales on for that week that was not Whatnot. So I'm gonna scoot over here and then we'll get into it. So I sold this pair of vintage 70s Gap pair of denim that I found when I went with my lovely friend Victoria thrifting up in Richmond. I will link that video up above if you haven't watched it. But I knew when I saw these that they would sell quickly and that they would sell well, and I was correct. They sold for $29.50, and of course the buyer had to pay for shipping. This is an item I put up on Whatnot for $2 and nobody purchased it, so I sold it on eBay for $5.87. I basically only made like a dime or so on this book because I believe this is one I paid $1 for. I'm okay with doing that, mostly because of the fact that I'm trying to do the buy 3 get 1 free on all of my books and media in my store, and I'm slowly building up that amount of books to make it enticing. So these one-off sales, I'm not really worried about it because I'm trying to build that up in my store currently to make that more profitable. Also, I made plenty of money on my Whatnot show, so that's fine. This is something I picked up at the bins. I paid 50 cents for this. This is EXO. If you did not know what EXO is, you can read the listing. It is a K-pop group. It is one that I personally enjoy. I have several of their albums on my own personal phone, but I decided to go ahead and sell this, so I turned 50 cents into $16.40, which I think is pretty great. This is a Woolrich piece. I paid $5.25 for this at a thrift store. These vintage Woolrich flannels can do very well. I get really excited whenever I find these and also the vintage Pendleton wool flannels because both of them sell very well for me and normally pretty quickly. This sold for $28.50 and the buyer paid for shipping. This is a viewer thank you, Suzanne. Thank you very much. I talked about in the last video that I actually sold both of the Tommy Bahama glow-in-the-dark skull slides like back to back, and this one actually sold to Suzanne. This was the size 8 slip-on, and I thought they were really cute, and I'm glad one of you thought it was really cute too. So Suzanne, I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you're excited to wear them this fall because they're very cute, and I was very sad that neither of them fit me. Another item I put up on Whatnot and it did not sell there, so it sold on eBay. This sold for $6.67, and of course it's free shipping. Again, I talked about how I'm doing the buy 3 get 1 free. And I have bought and sold Endar's game multiple times in my eBay store. I think you guys have seen that. I've also sold it a couple of times on Whatnot. It is a Nebula Award winner and probably one of my top 10 favorite science fiction books. It is my brother's favorite science fiction book, but I sold this, happy to do that. So this is an Untuckit shirt. I believe I picked this up at Diversity Thrifts. I paid $1 for this. This sold for $15. Remember the days when Untuckit shirts were like $40 to $50? Like pre-pandemic? This sold for $15. I can get anywhere from $15 to $25 for it. It just depends on the size and condition. This was a size medium and it did have some wash wear, so I was more than happy to let this go for $15, especially since I only paid $1. This is something from the big vintage buyout that I did, so basically free to me at this point. 100% profit, sold for $12 and the buyer paid for shipping. This item is proof that even if your thrift store does check eBay comps, they can't know everything, and not everybody that works there knows everything. I found these vintage whole pottery pieces. I paid $3 for the set, so $1.50 for the cup and $1.50 for the plate. These snack plates were Hull, and I knew that when I saw the brown drip glaze, so I paid $6 for these and sold them for $43.74, and the buyer paid for shipping. They had the Merry Mushroom set as well, and that was marked up. They had a whole bunch of other stuff with like the little eBay listing printed out in the cabinet, but I was still able to find some stuff to flip for a profit in this restore. Talked about this multiple times on my channel. It's this contact paper. I picked up this contact paper like over 2 years ago. I paid $2 a piece for each roll, thinking that I was going to make so much money because I spent over $100, and it took almost a year before any of it started to sell. I am now thoroughly into the profit, and it was now a good buy because it's a multi-quantity, multi-variation listing. The one I held up was actually the one that I sold. I sold 3 of these for $29.61 and the buyer paid for shipping. So I turned $6 into $29.61. So it is now profitable. I am now perfectly happy. If none of the rest of these sell, I can just redonate them and not feel bad about it. That was for about a year very dicey for me. I've talked about this brand a couple of times on the channel. Casual Corner is a 90s Y2K brand. It actually went out of business in 2005. So if you find anything Casual Corner, it is a 90s Y2K brand, which is currently in style. So this sold for $12 and the buyer paid for shipping. This was a kind of a sheer little top. I don't know, I just put dark macadamia in it. It had like one little snap that put the front together. It was like something that you would wear over a, you know, a slip dress, or you would wear with like a little cami underneath of it. It was very cute. Sold for $12 and really happy that it moved quickly. This is not something I would recommend picking up. In fact, I did not pick this out. This is something that came to me in a thread-up box, a shoe thread-up box. I am actually super floored that it actually sold, because these, I think it's the style that sold these, because the brand's not that great for resale, and also this had some staining on it that I couldn't get out even though I washed it. I got a lot of it out, but not all of it. This sold for $10, and to be honest, I'm perfectly happy with that, because again, I was on the fence about donating this versus listing it, and I decided to list it. So I'm glad that I made a little bit of profit on this and that another pair of shoes stayed out of landfill. This is a vintage 90s knit. I've talked about multiple times on this channel how I pick up these vintage knits because they do well for me. This is actually a sweater cardigan, and when I saw this Christopher Banks, which is not necessarily a great brand to pick up, but it had these star patterns in the knit, I was like, you know what, somebody's gonna want this. And somebody did. They paid me my full asking price of $17.87 and the buyer paid for shipping. And then the last item I have to share with you is this Kennington of California LTD Hippy boho top. I saw this in the store and I saw the label. The label is very distinct. I'm hopefully showing you a picture over here. This is a brand I look out for, but it has to be a brand slash style combo for me to pick it up. It is not a brand I just whole like carte blanche pick up. It has to be a style as well as a brand to pick up, and the style is obviously there. And then when I saw the brand, I got very excited because I knew it would hold more value, and this actually sold for $40 and the buyer paid for shipping. So I'm really glad I paid $5.70 for this at a thrift store. So great sale for me, and really happy this vintage piece moved on to a new home. For the month of August, you guys have noticed that everything has kind of been eBay sales, and that is just because of the fact that that is where I've put my energy and effort into this month, due to the fact that it's basically been eBay and whatnot all month for the month of August, because these giant book buyouts that I've done for this last month and whatnot is where I move a lot of my genre fiction. So that is why you're kind of only seeing eBay, but hopefully this is still helpful to you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye! Bye! And because I know you all are going to ask, Moxie was in her nest, sleeping, which is why you did not see her throughout the video. Isn't that right, baby girl? Did I ruin your nap? I'm sorry. You're still very cute. Bye!